Okay, assume retrograde. And begin burning off a lot of our vertical velocity. I waited too long the first try. I'm going to do it much sooner this time. Got to kill the worst of this now. Gravity isn't nearly as much as Kerbin, but it is nowhere near as light as the moon. I don't know what happened to the landing gear sounds, but somewhere along the line, don't seem to have them anymore. It's not essential, but it's kind of nice to hear an audio feedback that something is working. Okay. Beginning the deceleration earlier was a good idea. I began it too late. I didn't have enough time to kill the velocity. I'm going to get it down to about 50 meters per second and let it hold there for a while. What in tarnation is going on? All right, surface 90-90, hold that attitude. Of course, we're not in orbit anymore. We're holding an attitude above the surface. Still need to do some more decelerating. Quite a lot. I figure at 40,000 I shouldn't be going any faster than 40 meters per second. 30,000, 30 meters per second. So I don't know if that's really the best way to do it, but it's something that at least gives me a gauge of how fast I should be going at what altitude. And again, this altitude is the one that I need to pay the most attention to. I overcooked the deceleration a little bit, but that's not a problem. I actually want to get my throttle to the point where I can hold a given speed. I know that's going to cost more fuel, but the ship was designed to have plenty of fuel. And I'm quite willing to spend it. Alright. I think I've just about found the sweet spot on the throttle for this thing. The closer we get to the surface, the higher that's going to go, I'm pretty sure. To a point. But then again, as I've said before, I could be completely full of hot air. $84 liters in 3 tanks. That'd be enough. And if we have to use some of the upper, that's fine. Jebediah would not mind being permanently stationed on Duna for a while, or stationed on Duna for an extended period of time. I shouldn't say permanently. I'm sure he'd want to go home eventually. Specific impulse is still 800 at 0.7 liters per second fuel consumption. Very good. Descending at 47.7 and we're 42. So actually I'm going to cut the thrust for a little bit. Get a little bit closer, 39 kilometers from the surface. All right. Some big time braking in. Get it down to about 35 kilometers per second, meters per second, excuse me. All right. This is a tense moment. I mean, think about it. The only landing I've done before this was landing on the moon. And now here my second off-Kerbal landing is going to be on Duna, another planet. We have plenty of fuel for a safe landing, regardless of whether that leaves enough for Jebediah to return. It at least guarantees that he will live through the landing. Long-term research station here will be useful. He will also serve as a beacon for future flights to land at, especially the flight that consists of a ship that will take him home, which will no doubt be redesigned. I need to beef up my deceleration. And I know this constant deceleration is a big cost in fuel, but you have to remember that this Nerva engine with a limit of 60 newtons of thrust really isn't suited for what I've seen termed as the suicide burn. The sudden high thrust deceleration at the last minute. This engine is really not suited for that. I almost went into a climb there. That would have been pathetic. Here we are. Jebediah is just anxious as all get out. He can't wait to get down there on the surface, walk around on an alien planet. To boldly go where no Kerbal has gone before. That sounds like a good catchphrase. A good mission objective. To seek out new life, new civilizations. To explore strange new worlds. To boldly go where no Kerbal has gone before. Yes, that sounds great. It sounds like a fantastic mission statement. Yes, I know I botched it. I know I botched it, something awful. But that's alright. The spirit of Roddenberry forgives me. Down to 29 kilometers. The radial tanks are just about empty, which means we'll be burning the central tanks now. That's fine. As I said, the objective is to achieve a safe landing that allows Jebediah to live through and talk about the landing when he is eventually rescued. We'll refine the fine art of getting it right and doing it properly and having lots of fuel left over another time. Right now, we just want to get there. I feel like a kid in the backseat of a Sunday drive saying, "Are we there yet?" Of course, that's something that doesn't happen anymore. Sunday drives, just get in the car and drive for a few hours. You don't do that anymore. Not when gasoline is $4 a gallon. Back in those days, 10, 15 cents a gallon when I was a kid. There wasn't a car built that could hold $10 worth of gas. The surface is so far rather unremarkable. It almost looks like a paper towel that's been dyed. You can almost see the grid lines of the paper towel, the threads and the fibers of the paper towel. I overcooked the deceleration again. Mission Control is going to have my head over fuel usage, but I don't care. We're getting there. "25 kilometers above the surface." And like I said, I realize I'm probably overcooking this descent something awful. Decelerating way too soon and too fast, but better cautious than regretful. That's all I can say about that. I'd rather be careful than wish I had been. .5, .6, whatever kilometers right now. Trying to keep our descent from getting too fast. I'm going to go ahead and let it climb to 60 meters per second and then decelerate. I just don't want to let it climb very fast, which is why I'm not shutting down the engine yet, or at all. Oh god, it looks like it's approaching really fast, when in fact it isn't. Like an optical illusion. The paper towel is going to wrap around us and wipe us away. You know how they used to say the moon is made of green cheese? Perhaps Duna is made of paper towels wrapped around a tennis ball. 19 kilometers. I really don't want to descend any faster than this. I don't care how expensive it is in terms of fuel, as long as our pilot gets there intact. That's the main thing. I know the scenery is not exactly engaging. It'll do. Coming up on 17 kilometers above the surface. Be nice if there was a little bit of feature down there. Runways, parking lots, Taco Bell, McDonald's, something like that. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut would be nice. I haven't been to Pizza Hut in months. I would love to have a good pizza right now. Large meat lovers. Extra cheese. Double extra cheese. And a 2-liter of Coke. Okay, we definitely are not going to have enough fuel left for a liftoff, let alone a return. This tank is 3/4 shot. And after that, we have 400 liters in the bottom tank. It might be enough for a liftoff and orbit, but certainly not enough for a return. Blast it all. Did I cook us into a climb? No. I was sworn we ended up in a climb. "15 kilometers from the surface. This is it. Alright, let's use the RCS. See if I can cancel. Oh, it's wasting the RCS. I have to turn this off for a second. See if I can kill some horizontal velocity. Horizontal speed 33 meters a second. Have to kill some of that. Come on. Alright, we're losing some horizontal velocity now. Get that retrograde marker centered below us again. We're on the final fuel tank. Most of our velocity is now vertical, and I need to start canceling more of it. 12 kilometers away. Ten kilometers. 10.8. Have a nice slow descent. And I'm going to keep it that way. Yes, it's wasteful of fuel, but it's obvious there isn't going to be enough fuel for a launch and return anyway, so let's just use it all for a safe landing. Well, you can tell we're in atmosphere. We're getting some atmospheric effect now. .5 kilometers above the surface now. The surface is still featureless as a dyed paper towel. I can just see Jebediah's report back to Mission Control. I landed on Mars, and the label says Bounty. Seven kilometers. You'd think by now we'd be able to see some kind of features. Rocks. Coke bottles by the side of the road. Something, you know? 4.8 kilometers. Time to get into some deceleration. .2 kilometers. Try and hold our velocity around, well, anything less than 10 meters a second will be acceptable. 2.7 kilometers. .5 kilometers away from the paper towel surface of Duna. I still can't tell really if this is a flat plains, if we're on a slope, or what. Less than 200 liters of fuel remaining. Should be just nicely enough to get us down and parked. Two kilometers. All right. We are now very close to 1.5 kilometers from landing on the surface of Duna. I told you the ship could do it. And with a better pilot, it could probably do it with enough fuel to land and return. Right now, I will take a successful landing and be happy. Keeping us under 10 meters per second, because again, as I understand it, landing speeds of 10 meters per second or less will not result in a crash. It'd be nice to land slower than that, though, to avoid a bounce. One kilometer. 900 meters. .800 meters. And I still can't see any feature, anything to tell whether we're on a slope or not. 700 meters. .600 meters. Now keeping around 6 or 7 meters per second. .500 meters. Fuel is getting tight. We're only going to have one shot at this. Finally, we begin to see some surface feature. .300 meters coming up. Okay, 300 meters. .250. Fuel is getting critical. $150. 100. 50. I see the shadow. 30 meters. Engine cut. We're on the surface. It's not standing up. It's not good, but there has been no explosion. And the access ladder is visible away from the surface. And we had 10.2 liters of fuel remaining on landing. And it was a little bit of a slope, but I don't care. Turn smartass off. Turn this off and that off and that off. We don't need them anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Duna. And since we're here, we might just as well go EVA. Oh, come on, Jeb, get up. See what your rocket pack can do. Not bad. His ship is down. He's out of fuel. And he's just kind of sloughing along the surface here, enjoying himself. Jebediah Kerman, the first dancing Kerbal on Duna. I almost said Mars. Jebediah Kerman, the dancing Kerbal. Why are you turning away from me? Faceplant. Okay. So here we are. Jebediah Kerman, brave Kerbal, astronaut extraordinaire, legend in his own time. Standing atop his downed spacecraft without enough fuel to get back in, to get back to home. He's happy. He's got a lot of science he can do. He can radio back lots of reports. He has a food synthesizer that will keep him going for quite some time. And he's got all the time in the world to practice his competition cutthroat solitaire. Okay, Jeb. Time to head back in. Go ahead and practice your solitaire. Maybe try to come up with a pry bar thing to bring your ship upright, but all things considered, it's probably just as well to leave it in this position. It's not like it has enough fuel to take off. All right, so here we are, Jebediah Kerman, the first Kerbal on Duna, the first Kerbal to do the shuffle on Duna, the first dancing Kerbal to land on another planet. he will await a rescue mission. In the meantime, he's got science to do and solitaire to practice. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.